And now for something completely different. Well, certainly somewhat a bit of an oddity. In fact, two of them. This week it's the turn of the Umarex RP5 in both pistol and carbine format. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air, and today is a bit of a double review with the pistol and carbine versions of the Umarex RP5. To start with, they are different from each other, and there isn't just a stick on the back stock available to make them the same thing. The pistol comes in a simple, if quite nice box, but the carbine does come in a nice egg box shaped foam padded hard case. Shall we do the walk around with them side by side and see how we go on first? The first thing you notice is they are very similar but with subtle differences. The main body is exactly the same, all black item with a combination of very good quality plastics used alongside an assortment of metal parts. My first thought was this is an alternative twist to the Crosman Ratcatcher, and I suppose it is, but this is certainly a more thought through and finished item, and feels like someone has taken a lot of time to get it sorted and finished in an aesthetically pleasing way. It has a partly open barrel design covering the approximately 31cm barrel, which is, for some strange legal reason, a smoothbore. Probably some EU regulation somewhere, who knows. On the tip of the barrel, on both, is an open, non-adjustable, removable front iron sight. This does match up with the fully adjustable rear on the pistol version, but this has been completely removed from the carbine version, where the mounting point has been used for the stock attachment. But more about that later. The carbine comes fitted and supplied with a Picatinny stroke weaver rail for fitting of scope, red dot, or whatever takes your fancy. This is more of a dovetail to weaver type adapter and could potentially be removed if preferred. Going back to that front, under the barrel is the chamber for the twin 12-gram CO2 cylinders. This is the typical back-to-back fitting style, with the first one going in nose first and the second bottom first. This will ultimately result in both being pierced. This won't give more power, just a greater number of shots. It is possible to use one full and one empty CO2, which is fine if you're not going to be using it for many rounds or may well be leaving it unused for a while. Once the CO2s are in place, screw the top back using the first ring and then use the outer plastic ring to make the final pierce of the CO2s. There we go. You're then powered up. One thing to note here is the removal is the reverse, and the plastic end must be unscrewed first, or if by some miracle you're able to unscrew the metal one first and there's any gas still in there, then the end could launch itself and could be quite a shock to you and possibly take out your mate if he stood at the side of you. I made that mistake on an old Artemis some years ago, and it cost me a new light fitting. The carbine does come fitted with a rail on the underside of the CO2 chamber for bipods or the like, but this is omitted from the pistol version. Moving back, the grip and trigger guard are all plastic, but again feel very high quality and durable. Above this is the safety, which is ambidextrous and is a slide forward or back, forward for safe and back for fire. Now if you look very closely, there is a coloured indicator to show you it's live, but it isn't very easy to see, and a much brighter orange or red would have been better. And it only has the safe fire indicator written on one side, even though the action is completely ambidextrous. Once it's in safe, it will indeed lock everything up completely. This is single or multi-shot with a single shot tray and two rather different designed 5-shot magazines. They are loaded by dropping your pellets in head first, pushing in on the bar, drop your next one in, and again, and each one simply finds its level, drops itself into place so neatly until you've got all 5 in place, and then it just holds itself ready. They won't fall through because there is a small blocker that is activated by the movement of the silver pin on the back. Once loaded, drop this into the main block. The pin at the back will then slide forward to allow the loading of the pellet. Now this is where the special bit comes in. You see, this is basically a pump action and has such a satisfying feel. Squeeze the forestock, more specifically the button on the right hand side, then pull back on the action and return it all the way forwards with that satisfying shotgun racking sound that will keep you to just want to keep cocking this gun all the time. How satisfying is that? Let's see the Crosman do that. The Carbine, of course, has that extended rear stock to give this more stability without any real addition to weight to speak of. It is skeleton based and is fixed in 3 places. The top in replace of the rear sights and the underside of the same area and under the grip. The interesting thing here is the hex head machine screws have had a ball bearing pushed home into them to prevent the stock being removed. The reason for doing this seems a little strange here in Blighted, because this would tell me it's been done to prevent a more powerful carbine being stripped of its stock and used as an overpowered pistol. But this in pistol form is capable of around 5.6 foot-pounds and has no more power to it in the carbine form. So it's perfectly legal here in England because it's below the 6 foot-pound figure. Again, maybe it's to satisfy some other countries' legal requirements that they've kept the carbine the same power. I'm not entirely sure. But you know, not everyone has acres and acres of land to shoot on, and sometimes 6 foot-pounds is more than powerful enough for a small back garden. The barrel is threaded with a 1/2 inch UNF thread to be able to take a silencer of your choice, which is a nice simple touch and may just keep you on the right side of the neighbours. Time to give this smoothbore barrel a test then. I fitted a red dot to this for fun. Let's get it out on some fun targets then, shall we? Now, just for good measure, let's see if we can punch some holes in some paper, shall we? Again, out at 25 metres, simply with a red dot. remember I was shooting without any magnification at all over 25 metres on a cold, windy day. So I think it holds its head up in the target test. But as I've said, this is more about the fun factor and tin can type shooting. An interesting point here is the addition of that top rail, which I've already said is essentially a weaver to dovetail adapter, because the gun has a dovetail rail along its top. And using this compact red dot on the top of the additional rail did leave it, to my liking, a little high. And I would probably remove the adapter rail and put it straight onto the dovetail rail. Being careful, of course, to watch where the magazines drop in. Now, if on the other hand you wanted to put a small scope on here, then some lower mounts on the weaver type rail would fit really nicely, allowing the front of the scope to overhang the rail. I suppose the addition of the rail system and non-threaded barrel is what sets this apart from its nearest like-minded setup, which to me would be the Crosman 2240 and 2250 and even the 2250 XL, which I appreciate are cheaper and have been around for, well, 100 years. But the German construction of this does take it to the next level. The power level on the Carbine could be a bit disappointing for some, and that I appreciate, but for some close quarter ratting work, it's light enough and agile enough, and is capable of a fair few shots from the dual CO2 setup. I would say around a good 50 shots. I can see this will have its place, and I suppose finish and design quality does come at a price. And at the end of the day, that pump action style cocking system is so satisfying. The main complaint you will have when using this is that it doesn't have a 20 round belt fed magazine system. So as a pistol, it's good quality, multi-shot, right up on the UK power limit. Maybe a little expensive, accurate in close quarters rat work or the like, and is terrific fun to use. In carbine form, it has a few extras. A nice case to carry it in. It's no more accurate, has no more power, and is more expensive. Which would I choose? Carbine. I think it's brilliant, especially when fully loaded up. Don't believe me? Try it yourself, and I bet it brings a smile to your face. Every time. This is just great fun. Really great fun. I just love that action. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this review. If so, please give us the usual thumbs up. Don't forget to join the club and subscribe. Click on the alarm bell for notifications. Check out all this lot and visit the AAR On Air website, which is the only place you can get genuine AAR merchandise. Thanks as always to Vector Air for the loan of these two guns today, and of course thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Stay safe and shoot safe, and I'll see you then. I'm off to have another go with this. I love it.